Check, baby, check, baby, check. 1, 2. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever it is in the world you're coming from. Welcome to the Space Lounge, DYOR Live's evening show, our daily talk show, DYOR Live, usually on the air between 2 p.m. or 12 p.m. and 2 p.m. Every weekday, talking about crypto, financial markets, day trading, all the big liquidity market, big big traded markets out there. Oh, my English is doing well today. And this is the special Space Lounge evening edition when we're not on the air during the day. Pedro's off on Tuesdays during the day, and we get together at night. Not sure if Pedro's going to be with us tonight, but as always, there's a lot to talk about. We're going to do about half this show, as they say, in the clear, and then half in premium. All this week, Chris Pavlovsky and Paolo Arduino, I can never pronounce his last name correctly, Chris from Rumble and Paulo from Tether are raiding people's streams, and we're hoping they're going to raid this stream and bring their crowd along with them. So we're going to end up talking a little bit about Tether's new product, USAT. Not USDT, but USAT. People are all confused about it, and it's quite simple. It's quite simple. That's it. That's all it is. Stablecoin. Anyway, welcome to the show. Everyone on YouTube. Welcome those of you on Twitch, Kick, X, but more importantly, Rumble. Rumble's our home. For those of you that are watching other platforms, feel free to come on over and join us here on Rumble. Let me get the... that's weird. Where is it here? If you're watching on your big screen TV or on your tablet or something like that, take your cell phone out, pop that QR code right here, this one right here, and join on your phone. You can join. You don't have to create all new account. You can use your Google, Facebook, or Apple account. If you want to use one of those other logins, click the sign in button, not the sign up button. Click the sign in button, and then it'll bring up the Google, Facebook, and all that logins for you to use. It helps us out a lot if you log in. Come on over, join Rumble. Pedro and I get credit for referrals. It helps us with the engagement, the algorithm, all that type of stuff. And allows you to ask us questions, right? That's what we're here for. This DYOR Live in the Space Lounge and everything pretty much on the DYOR Media Network are interactive shows. We want you to ask questions. We want you to learn. We call it edutainment. We educate you and entertain you at the same time. Jason Spurgis in the house. I don't know why the message did not come on YouTube. There we go. Jason Spurgis in the house. Really appreciate showing up here for the show today. Gonna get going here talking about Bitcoin. Talking about trade that I did. Only did one trade today, and it was a losing trade. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It was a loser. Good news is it's not closed out yet. I haven't reached my stop yet, but it's a loser. Yesterday we talked about my two winners, and I was all happy. Yay! All right, winning trades. Today, no. But I should have. My model presented itself, and I didn't take it, and then I kind of emotionally FOMO'd into it, and it was a bad trade. Because then I went short, and then the whole market turned for the green again, and I was like, ah. Anyway, welcome to the Space Lounge tonight. Crypto Unicorn says, hey. Connect me one. I'm guessing it's a woman. For your profile. Evening, gents. Yes, I might know who that is. Welcome everyone tuning in on YouTube. Thanks for joining us. Once again, we are an interactive show here. We're going to be doing the first part of this show, be on a little over an hour today. First part of the show in the clear, second part of this show in premium. Because Pedro and I are officially Rumble partners. That's right, just like the big accounts, Rumble partners, and we have to get so many hours of premium content to get 5 to be clear, we have to get 5 hours in, and we've got almost 2, and we've only got 4 more days to do that. 28th, 29th, 30th, 4 more days. All right, so we should be able to do it. Anyway, Jason, would appreciate if spread the word, let other people know that we in the house. Anyway, let's get to talking about Bitcoin and what happened today. We'll briefly go over Bitcoin, gold and silver here. Let me get the right screen here. Tom's screen. There's the Bitcoin screen. As always, join our network. We always like to have other shows on. We have the Crypto Swamp Creatures, Carmen's Crypto Chit Chats, Rugged, Ruined, and Wrecked, a number of other shows that are on our network. And most of them are done seasonally, like a whole bunch of them, and then nothing for until the next year. So we're always looking for new content. If you're someone out there who wants to have a crypto-related talk show, even if it's not so crypto or finance, if it just touches on it and is more policy, regulation, or just right-wing ranting, we'll take left-wing ranting too. Come talk to us. If you don't want to have to spend the time building a channel and worrying about the back end part of it, if you just want to turn on your microphone and have a show, we'll do that for you. So join us. Use that QR code there. It goes to our website and tells you the process for getting involved with DYOR Media. But for now, we'll turn that off and turn on the pricing module, which isn't lining it. It moves. I don't understand how it moves. Look at Bitcoin here and talk about the crappy trade I made today, and how I should have gotten out of it, and why I didn't. All right, Bitcoin here, ladies and gentlemen. You're thinking, it's just sitting here at 89,000, not doing much at all. In fact, you would be correct. The 24-hour volume today, 43 billion. That's low. Normally, when we do our shows, the 24-hour volume on normal days is 60 to 80 billion. Busy days, 100 to 140 billion, and super busy days, 140 plus. Tomorrow is what, ladies and gentlemen? Jerome Powell Day. That's right. Jerome Powell Day. Expecting no change in the Fed funds rate. It's 3.75% now. And the expected is no change and will be 3.75 again. But even though there's no changes predicted, one of the things that happens, because the Fed now puts on a big show. Did that pricing thing move? No, just the screen. Oh, that's annoying. Anyway, in the past, the Fed would just have their meeting and then send their notes to a reporter at the Washington Post, the Dow Jones, and the New York Times, and they would spread, or a wire service, and they'd say, interest rates have changed. And they might do it not on a schedule. They might do it like, it's different, and people would just know that the meeting was going to happen, so maybe the rates would change. But it was never really expected. And thus, people traded normally. They just traded, and when the rate was announced, they'd react to it, just like any news item. Then the Fed said, hey, this is becoming a big deal, the Fed rate, because the U.S. debt went up a lot. Debt-traded instruments are big on Wall Street. A lot of things rely on the debt. As the market watched it more and more, it started using it as an indicator. So they started doing it at exact time, have a whole protocol for releasing the number, and then they started doing the video releases. And then it became a whole dog and pony show. And so since it was a big deal, the market waits for it. And that means there's no liquidity in the market. The US government actually holds back liquidity in the trading markets artificially by making a big deal about the Fed funds rate. They should just release it. Don't need to have a press conference. They have a press conference a couple days later after it's changed or whatever, and big deal. But because they announce when it's going to be, this whole week is a different trading week than the week prior. It's rather annoying. Because billions of dollars, just in Bitcoin alone, $20 billion in liquidity has been taken out of the market. $20 billion. Just because Jerome Powell is speaking tomorrow, or whomever. If there'll be a new guy in a couple of months, whatever. And not only that, but the Fed they're reconstructing their headquarters and all that type of stuff because they're 200-year-old buildings. The first thing they redid was what? The press conference room, right? And it's gorgeous and it's beautiful and so they use it. And they have press conferences from it to talk about this, and the market comes to a halt before it. Not just in Bitcoin, but the S&P 500 volume is down, Nasdaq volume is down. Everything. People are just like holding their money back, waiting for about a half hour after it's announced for the markets to settle down and then start trading. Should the U.S. government be in the business of restricting capital markets? No, they should not. But they are, kind of unintentionally. And it's all so people can get in front of the camera when they could just do it right here on Rumble. Just press a button, go live. Anyway, with Bitcoin over here, you see not much travel room today. 87.3 was the low, 89.4 was the high. But there were opportunities in there today. I missed them. I did not make a proper trade today. I tried to make a proper trade, but the market turned against me, and I am in a losing trade right now. Let's show you what happened here. First of all, what's going on here? This is the 5-minute Bitcoin chart. You see we've come up, started the day rather flat here. Got a little volatility in the morning, and then all of a sudden we had a big just market maker market manipulation ride up here today, and then this consolidation period going on. If we look at the other chart, if you look at the hour-long chart, you can see the important part here. The market pumped in some big hour-long candles right to the 200-period moving average and is not crossing it. The 200-period moving average is holding on to it. The 8-period is moving up here, and the 21-period is starting to curve up. This is the hour chart here. In one of these lines coming up, probably the 8-period is going to force the hand of Bitcoin, whether it's going to break above the 200 or not. Anyway, let's see where Tom went wrong today in his journey back into trading. It made me so angry. Even when you lose, you should not let the emotions get into it. Sucker Free City's in the house. Whoop, whoop, late show. Yep. Good to see you, FSC. Thank you very much, Jesus. Jesus, I saw my my uncle online yesterday. His wife, my aunt, was posting a picture, and his grandfather. His last name is Bingham. His grandfather is Hiram Bingham. How about that? I hadn't seen or heard from him in probably a year, and I mentioned it on the show 2 days ago. And there he was. That's the Inca magic working right there. Jason, lots of good stuff dropped here. You know what I need? I need a bot where you can just enter in like yay or put an emoji or something like that, and the screen goes confetti guns or something like that. Anyway, back to the stuff here. Earlier today, let's see, about what time was it here? Let's spread these hour-long charts out here. Yeah, we're gonna have to move to the 15-minute chart here to show you where I thought I was gonna get rich. Yes, here are my two trades from yesterday. Both of them caught the pump up here, and then I made a little bit of money yesterday. And today, right here at about, right here about 9:15 a.m. Eastern time. I was waiting for the opening kind of buffoonery, the volume that comes out on the open to make a trade, and that happened. And right here in this area here, the indicators for me were saying that it was time to go short. That's right. That's right, a short trade. And now I've been trading with very big one-to-one margins, meaning that I don't have a lot of leverage. If I risk $60, my trade comes to its final conclusion, I will have made $60. Originally, I was going to put on a larger trade today. In fact, I started with a larger trade in which it would be 4-to-1. I was going to put up $100 for 400, and I wisely got out of it. And I'll show you where. Here, I got short right here. The 15-minute was coming down. The hour-long charts showed gloom and doom. I forget everything about it. I mean, I did write it down in my journal, but it was forming this this line, the trend line down on the 15-minute, 30-minute, and hour-long chart. And I said, all right, it's likely now to come back down to like 86,000. There was big liquidity on Bookmap at 85,000 and no liquidity above it. But I forgot today's the day before the Fed, before Jerome Powell speaks. Generally a bad day to trade. Very bad day, lower liquidity. Like I was saying earlier, I brought up why the US government is in the business of the big press conference business for the Fed funds rate. Money stays out of the market. It's like a holiday. It's not a good day to trade. And I was trading anyway. I didn't realize it was Fed Funds Day until later. Anyway, what Pedro says is watch the volume here. If the volume's flat or going down, there's a better chance of a sell-off. I didn't watch the volume. The volume started to tick up a little bit. See how this volume, just right here, especially the green volume, just started to tick up? You gotta watch that. I didn't. You get busy working on stuff and you don't pay attention properly. And the market went against me. It came up all the way up here, and I had a 4-for-1 trade on. And so I was down pretty significantly here on my trade. It was down 180 bucks at the worst point here. And I was looking at it as my stop is up here at 89.5 somewhere. No, I'm sorry, 90 something, 90,500. And that's because there's some liquidity up there. And I said, all right, the market's going to start turning here because that's what it's been doing. And sure enough, the market started to turn and came back, and I was flat in the trade. So I got out of 3. I'm trading contracts on Robinhood, not on the Perpetuals exchange. I got out of 3 of the contracts and left 1 in. And I said that was too much risk for the market today. That's when I realized the Fed funds thing was, it's coming down. I still thought it was going to go down and grab that liquidity at 85,000. As soon as I walked away from the computer, what happened? That's right, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. This happened. Boop! just over the course of a couple hours, it just kept ticking up with almost, no demand wicks. No, there's very little demand wicks. There's also very little supply wicks here. Volume is kind of flat, but the green volume is a lot larger than the red volume. Pedro beats it into my head. Where is the volume? Where's the green volume? Where's the red volume? Which one is more? Which one is less? Green volume had much higher candles here. Just looking at this, you could say, oh, that's likely to go up. If you couldn't see the chart, if you could look at this, you'd say, oh, it went up. Sure enough, it went up for hours. Anyway, so it's consolidating here. Hopefully it'll take this and roll right over. I'm down $60 right now. But what I missed out on because I had a short position on that I should have closed when it started going against me. I missed out on the model, which is what, ladies and gentlemen, the 200, the sand price special 200. This is the 15-minute chart, I might add. And the price action came above the red line's the 200 period moving average. I came up, the 8 period came up, the 21 period came up. This is the ideal time, right here, right when this 8 period and this 21 period comes here, right here. So it was right there, this candle, to go long. Wouldn't have been a big gain, but That's the 15-minute chart. If you look at the 1-minute chart, let's get the 5-minute chart so I'm in the right place. This all starts with the 1-minute chart, and some people say the 30-second chart. See, it crossed right here at 2 o'clock this afternoon. Right here. This is the point to get, actually the point to get in was right here. It came up, came down a little bit, and the best ones always work this way. They come up, they retrace just a little bit, hit the 21 period moving average, and then they take off. This one, early, you see, oh, Tama did it back here, and it didn't work. So it came up, hit the 21 period moving average, immediately started coming down. And this is one that which you would get in, because you're like, yes, it's doing what we want, and you'd have a stop, and it would stop you out. And then there's other ones that don't meet the criteria. Like a lot of these get too close. Also, this kind of looks like a head and shoulders was about to form. Didn't do it, kept going up. Anyway, 1-minute chart, all good. 5-minute chart. Do you think maybe the 1-minute chart's a little risky? You're like, no, I don't want to do that. So you go to the 5-minute chart. Is it doing the same thing? Yes. Yes, same thing happened here. Same thing happened here on the 5-minute chart. Crossed here. This works on just about every contract. That's fairly like, I'm doing it on BC, but you could do it on crude oil, you could do it on gold, silver, whatever. All you need is volatility to move the price far enough away from the averages. It comes up, it just follows the 8-period moving average all the way up. 21 period confirms it. Would have bought this one right here and ran it up, made 60 to 100 bucks. But instead I was short from the bad trade earlier. I should have sold it, but for sure, I have confidence in my trade because the overall trend is what, ladies and gentlemen? The overall trend since the since January 14th is what? Is down. The overall trend is down. You look at the 1-hour chart, look at the daily chart, whatever, it's down. So this little bump right here, could that be the little bump there? Same, and then it goes up, of course. Anything's possible. But likely, since it's bouncing off this 200 period moving average here for the 1 hour, it's likely to keep going down. So I'm confident to leave my trade on overnight and see what happens. Jason Spurgis says, I'm happy with the gold price. SFC says, gold 5K. Give me back my gold. He's the Inca. Those Peruvian Incas. This is Inca gold right here. That's what it is. It's called bourbon. I like these evening shows where I can have a cocktail. Anyway, let's appease the crowd here and go look at once again, everyone watching on YouTube, thank you, first of all. And second, if you could share this with someone, we'd really appreciate it. YouTube has been derating crypto channels lately, especially if you talk about the predictive markets, poly market, all that type of stuff. And because they equate it to gambling. And they say their advertisers don't like gambling. Meanwhile, on the gambling channels, like Chevy is advertising, sports, NFL, it's the dumbest thing. So we rely on people spreading the word over on YouTube. Or just joining us on Rumble. No, a pisco sour? No. Nope. Nothing. Anything with the word sour in it? No. Nope. Anyway, let's get the word out here. Let's do it the old-fashioned way here real quick, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome everybody to the show. My man Pedro is supposed to be here. I don't know where he is. Please like, subscribe, comment, chat, follow. Like. I already said that one. Just do it. Let's get the word out. Thank you to everybody watching on... where is the X chat here? There we go. For some reason, my system isn't posting on chat or on X, but it can read. Welcome, X viewers. Jesus, I switched things up. If you're watching on YouTube, I'm guessing you're watching on your big screen TV at your office, or are you later now at home or whatever? But I didn't realize that I was broadcasting only in 720p on YouTube. And I changed the setting, changed the way of doing things, so that I sent my 1080p signal to YouTube. Let me know if the picture is okay, or is it blur? The whole thing blurry like the corner over here. That's intentional over here. Anyway, let's hit up. So thank you for everybody watching. Make sure you like, you comment, chat. You be interactive. Interact with our tweets. Our tweets on X and on Truth Social. Both under Striking Balls and or DYOR Media on both platforms. They have I've tagged Chris Pavlovsky of Rumble and Paulo, whatever his name is, from Tether. They're going around raiding people's streams all week, and they're bringing followers and money with them. They want to talk about Tether Gold and USAT, United States of America Tether, USAT. The new stablecoin, which I'll talk about after we talk about silver and gold. But let's do silver first. Another crazy day in silver. Not like yesterday though. Yesterday was, as they say, super crazy in silver. Now remember, forever, silver. Chart. I don't know what chart. Oh, I got the 3-month chart. That's not what I want. 3-hour chart. Silver looked like this. What does this look like? Looks like your 7th grade girlfriend's boobs. That's what that looked like. Nothing. And then, all of a sudden, we go into meme coin land. And the chart goes nuts. This is silver yesterday. That craziness. Actually, that was the 25th. Yeah, that was yesterday. That's the craziness from today. Because it changes at 8 o'clock. Eastern time for the new day. It's technically silver in the morning right now. Spans the day to the 28th here. Did he catch the 28th? No, I guess it stayed in the 27th. All right, I'm wrong on that. Anyway, the volatility in silver has been crazy, and it's not letting up. It's not letting up. Pedro and I keep, especially Pedro. But let's go back to the daily chart here. I mean, look at this crazy-ass hockey stick of a daily chart. Anyway, Pedro was calling it coming back here to the 70 mark, 64, 53. I think he added a new line at 80 somewhere. Yeah, 83. This one here. And it doesn't do it. It doesn't fucking do it. Oh, sorry, I had this drawn off the page here. It doesn't do it. Here, these are the lines that Pedro was talking about here. 83, 70, 64, and 53 for the pullback stick. I mean, obviously now 53 is a lot. It'd be 50% of the price. Don't expect that because the shortage of deliverable silver in China putting export controls on. So we don't expect a low pullback here, but we do expect something here. Let's do a Fibonacci here from the low point here to the high point here. And the 786 is just under the $83. So we'll call it $80. The Fibonacci retracement is the set of deviations. Not going to go into the details of it. Set of deviations from the current price range. Started where it last kind of came down, went to its high here now. Bodies, not wicks. And the golden pocket is between 0.6 and 0.65, somewhere in there. Right, it's probably behind my head again, right? I'll make myself small. And so you can almost count on it doing this, coming up and then coming back down to the 786 right here. See this? This is the 786 retracement. And then if it trades through that, then well, not good. Then you're just dumping. But if it bounces off this 786, usually it does a good bull run after that. It's called the 786 Fibonacci retracement. And you would never believe. I mean, Fibonacci's are what the Fibonacci numbers and values and whatever constants, whatever they are things that just happen naturally in nature, like the shape of pine cones, sunflower seeds, all this type of stuff works on what's called the Fibonacci system. Hey, guess what? Charts do also, and you can't believe how many times, over and over again, things retrace to where that deviation is before turning around. So I'm expecting it to come back to 80 at some point, because everything comes back. But that's if it starts the retracement now. This could go to 150 before it does that. Why? Because it doesn't show any. Every day we say it's going to stop. I don't know what I just did there. Let's undo whatever I did. Undo. Come on. There we go. When it ended here with a big run up, we're like, well, it's got to come down now. Came down for a couple hours and then went right back up. Finished here, we're like, now it's got to come back down. Went up. Here, we're like, now it's got to come down. It very well could go right up. I mean, this has got, it's not far to 150. 150 is only here, ladies and gentlemen. That's 150. And this is where we've come since here. This is the beginning of December right here. December, January, February. So literally if this keeps up by the middle of February, we'll be at 150. I mean, silver is doing what Solana did more quickly. Remember, Solana, after the FTX scandal, got down to $8, and it was at $10. I beat them up on Rugged, Ruined, and Wrecked. And what I should have been doing is buying Solana. And when silver was down, Pedro and I were talking about it 2 years ago. He's like, this thing's gonna play out. Even Sam Price was talking about. He's like, it's a big cup and handle. Same with gold. It's gonna go. And we didn't cover it. We should have been. The guys in the gold markets and silver markets were all warning us. They're like, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Supply is drying up. They're not building more refining capacity. Remember, silver isn't like gold is mined directly. You can go out and pan for it. You can look for a vein of gold or a big nugget. Silver is essentially a byproduct of other things. Silver is a byproduct of copper mining, lead mining, zinc mining, and only 18% of copper is found directly. The rest of it comes off in the refining process of those other minerals. So it's not easy. It's not easy to just say we need more. Let's just open another mine. We know where it is. Let's just go get it and refine it. Like with gold, they know where a lot of gold is. The Chinese have it all mapped out all over the country. They just can't refine it all. And nor do they want to, because it would depress the price. And for ages, people were screaming. The silver price, Pedro was too. It's like, come on, man. It's going to happen. And it happened. Baby Draco over on Rumble. Thanks for switching. That was weird. Had to come here because YouTube not letting me comment. It says I'm not subscribed. Those mother... That's a common problem, that they unsubscribe you from channels they think that you're not interested in anymore. And you watch it all the time. You watch our show all the time. Anyway, all you have to do is just resubscribe. Anyway, but Rumble, you don't have to pay. You don't have to pay to listen to it while you're multitasking on your phone. YouTube, you have to be a premium member with $99, or have one of these, side apps that sucks the YouTube audio out when your screen closes. YouTube wants you to pay the $99. So does Rumble, but they're like, no, we want you to be able to drive and listen to a show. Anyway, silver. I use the Kinesis Silver Crypto as my go-to for silver. Not because I know anything about the project at all. I just know it mirrors the price. And the graphs work well here, showing the price of it. Anyway, what Pedro and I have been talking about with silver is the lack of supply, because the Chinese have said that they are going to be putting the export controls on it. First of all, I was mentioning, it's hard to find more, hard to refine more of it. Just don't find it. And two, China put export controls on it. I've worked in export controls my whole life in the defense business. I understand how they work. They're a pain in the ass. They're a huge compliance mess. Is essentially what China's law says is that no company in China can sell silver to a company outside of China without the government's permission. And what happens is that the government makes the buying company sign a document saying they won't resell it to anyone else without the Chinese government's permission. Just like the US does. Like when we sell fighter jets to Turkey, sell tons of F-16s to Turkey. They couldn't sell them to anyone they wanted, or any of the parts we supplied them, without us approving. Like China or Turkey said, you know what, our F-16A models are getting old. We're gonna sell them to the Syrians. The US government went, oh, nope, can't do that. Contract says we approve that, and we don't approve it. So they sold them to the Australians. And they're like, yeah, that's fine. You can sell them to the Australians. Well, I think it was F-18. Whatever, it doesn't matter. But that's how it works. They're doing that with silver now. And that essentially restricts the market because, say, Tesla wanted to buy a whole bunch of silver from China. China can say, yeah, but you can't use it in cars that have fully autonomous driving. Or you can't use it in cars painted red, or whatever the conditions they want. That's going on with silver right now. And it's going to go on from China with other rare earth elements too, until the rest of the world catches up in our refining capacity. As Donald Trump said the other day, this was important for you guys watching. This was one of the important things that Trump said that makes real economic sense. Not a lot of his campaign rhetoric or tariffs this, tariffs that, billions and billions. What he said was this little nugget of information. What he said is we don't have a rare earth mineral supply problem. Because he said, we know where it is. He said, we have a refining problem. We don't have the capacity to refine this stuff because that's difficult. We have environmental regulations out the ass. We have people that sue and find super liberal judges that say, yeah, you can't have that. You can't, there's a giant 1,000,000-acre desert. You can't take 7 acres and, put a refining plant for lithium in it. No, God, can't do that. No. It violates the human rights laws. So things take a long time to come online. But it was really key. It was key. Sorry, I think I left this music too loud, didn't I? I totally did. You guys gotta tell me when I do these things. What Trump said, when he said that, he said, we know where it is. We know where not all of it, he said, we know where the rare earth minerals are in the United States, and I would assume in Canada too. So we just can't refine them. And I thought about that, and I said, you know what? They've been doing surveys for years of the United States for all different types of rare earth elements. The data they accumulate from soundings, they drill the cores, they, I don't know, do magic dances, whatever it is they do. That they've been gathering that data for ages and ages and ages. And oh, I just had a good idea. Sorry, I had a business idea there. Sorry, gotta write this down. That's how that works, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, they have all this data on paper. They have all this data on microfiche and microfilm and all that type of stuff. They're digitizing that. They're digitizing it all, and they're letting AI crank through it. Hey, AI, take all this new data that we have recently, take the old data we have, compare them, contrast them, find a pattern that shows us where we missed oil, lithium, copper deposits, whatever. And AI is going through and doing that. And they're saying, hey, look, you didn't correlate X, Y, and Z over here, but under that mountain is a whole ton of copper, I bet. And then they go out and they're like, shit, the AI was right. It's helping out the mining industry a lot. And that's why I believe Mr. Trump said, we know where it all is. We just can't refine it. So that is also a restriction on supply. We have China restricting supply. Canada's restricting supply because they can't dig anything up. They can't even dig the mines because they're way screwed up. And then the U.S. has environmental rules and regulations about building more refining capacity. Price go up. So do we see a higher silver price? Yeah, look at it. So 113 now. 113. Hit 117 yesterday. Volume is still up. Someone is still buying a ton of silver every month on the COMEX, Commodities Exchange in New York, for delivery. I worked there. I worked in the Commodities Exchange in New York for 6 years, all through college. They'll put me through school working there. And I almost never took orders that said for delivery. Never. I mean, most contracts in the futures markets, just like in the perpetuals markets, they're just speculation. You buy it, you sell it, the contract's closed. I think one time I took an order for, talked about this last night, for delivery, and we had tons of phones. You're on two phones at once, and the special phone rang. You're like, ooh, special phones ring. It's one of the trading desks when I used to work for Beige. Guy calls and says, I'm placing an order for gold, March, by, however many contracts it was, I forget the number, but he said, please mark it for delivery. And we had a special term we wrote on it. I can't remember what it was. And I was like, for delivery. And he said, okay, now repeat the order back to me. You always had to repeat the order, just like anything else. And he said, and I said, for, and I said, and delivery as well. No, he said, no, what did you write on the ticket? I said, for delivery only. Yeah, FDO, for delivery only. Means they would not be closing that contract out. They're going to buy it and they're expecting delivery. That lets the exchange know this contract is bought and they're going to take delivery. And someone's doing that right now to the tune of billions of dollars every month of gold and silver. You don't know who it is. Somebody does, because there's a brokerage house here behind it. And the exchanges publish this information, how much delivery they're taking, people are taking. But they don't publish who the names are, because the exchange doesn't know the names. The exchange just knows that the account, big brokerage number one, bought a whole bunch of silver from sellers 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Somebody's buying. It's been going on for 15 months. 15 months. Billions and billions and billions of dollars. And thus you've seen price go up. Now people speculate. Of course, you're going to speculate. I'm speculating it's Elon Musk because he needs silver and gold for his electronics equipment. And he's getting enough, buying enough that he can use in industrial processes until he can send rockets out and grab asteroids that are big in mineral content and send them back. Other people say it's the U.S. government buying. The U.S. government. The U.S. government has 2 million ounces of gold. And at their book value, the U.S. government's only values it at $42 an ounce. And you're like, well, why? It's at $5,000 an ounce. Because the value of holdings on U.S. asset books, U.S. government assets, are valued by Congress. They set them by legislation, and then they say, and it hasn't been revisited since 1973 when gold was $42. And in fact, it was I was alive then. It was what was it called? The gold. I can't remember what it was. The Gold Repricing Act or something like that, and it brought it from $8 to $42 an ounce. And so all the U.S. government, when Pedro says everybody's only worth every American's worth $600,000, and it shows the calculation on the debtclock.org website. That's with a $42, valuation. That means the U.S. government has $11 billion in gold. 2 million ounces, only 11 billion. If it's repriced at the current market, it's $13 trillion. $13 trillion the U.S. government has. So they could buy as much as, if they were buying billions over the couple of months, it wouldn't matter much. I mean, it's like Michael Saylor buying, another couple hundred Bitcoin. So what? He's got 700,000 Bitcoin now. The U.S. has $13 trillion worth of gold. More than pretty much add everything up. Remember, the gold, here, let's find this. Let's do this real quickly here. Pedro and I started talking about this yesterday. The gold market cap is $35 trillion. The United States has 13 trillion of it. 13 trillion. Think of that. And the ratio of owning silver also is massive too. Remember our currency. You can still go buy silver dollars, silver $half. And the ones before 1960 something were actually made of silver. I had a whole bunch and I got rid of them. I don't know why. Anyway, so I don't think that it's the U.S. government buying these things. I think what's going on, and I want to have a conversation with. I invited Andy Schechtman to the show. Schechtman, he's the head of Miles Frankman Gold Company. He's on a lot of podcasts talking about it. But I think it's BRICS countries buying it, trying to set up their gold settlement system. That's my speculation. Either countries buying it for gold, or BRICS, or Elon Musk. Jason, thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it. Space Cat, welcome, Fred. Welcome to the show. Really appreciate it. Hope you're doing well tonight. Can we start all over again? Yeah, we'll start all over again. That Mark Kearney guy, darn nabbit, fish. No, actually, we haven't talked any politics here today. Anyway, welcome, Space Cat. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for helping the YouTube algorithm by joining us on YouTube, where our crowd has diminished because YouTube hates us. But over on Rumble, thank you, Chris Pavlovsky, CEO of Rumble, doing just fine. Anyway, we're talking about the silver price. Let's head over to gold. Wait, before I do that, what were we talking about? What do you think is going to happen, Tom? Frankly, I think we've got a bit more in this run. As we saw over here, the silver is only a $6 trillion market cap. So it doesn't need a lot of money. I mean, it needs a lot of money to come in, but it doesn't need a tremendous amount of money to come in to get to that next level. Here we have, oh, that's silver again. I don't know why my chart defaults back. Is that the right gold? No, that is not the right gold. Oop, that's not it. All right, we'll just go with this one. Anyway, gold's at 5,200 new highs here, ladies and gentlemen. New highs, 5,245 right now. Look at this gold chart. Watching Crypto Life for earlier today. Was it today? Yeah, he got it. He's looking at this chart, and then one of his viewers said, "Hey, the 1 hour chart's looking good here," and he came on and looked at it. Right. Let's see. It would have been right in this time right here. That there's a white candle there. The market went down a little bit. And he's like, "Oh, maybe I'll get out of this trade." And he kind of looked at it, he analyzed it, and he said, "Nope, it's all good. It's good here. I think it's going to pop." Not only did it pop, I mean, it went from gold popped $200. That's huge. That's a big move in gold, and it's still going up. The only problem we have with gold and silver, I think, as far as pricing, that's not a restriction of supply. Like I was saying, China is restricting supply. The U.S. environmental regulations restricting supply. General corruption restricts the supply out of Africa. And Canada just can't get their ass together to build anything new. So that supply is restricted. But then there's a demand side. The demand side also is a problem here because silver and gold are used in industrial processes. Your phone has a lot of silver and gold in it. Obviously, gold leaf and just, I mean, you can take, a tiny bit, little pin drop of gold or silver, and, that's worth a lot of money. And for gold leaf and just plating and electronics, use very little, like a couple molecules thick is all you need. And goes a long way. But they use a lot of it in certain electronics, like in medical equipment, they use all kinds of gold and silver for shielding. They use it for this and that, for electrical conduit, all kinds of stuff. Not electrical conduit in the walls of your house. I'm talking in electronics and circuit boards and stuff like that. Remember, each rare earth element that conducts electricity does so at a different rate, so they can put things closer together on certain things and use this metal and that metal, yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. Electrical engineering is magic, not necessarily an art. But companies that use a lot of this, they plan their industrial manufacturing out, a year in advance. They develop products 2 years in advance. They test them. They test their build their bill of materials, build their supply chain, go into production and prototypes, test those, and go into production. And they do it based on known prices and predictability. They can't just raise prices. Remember, for all you economic wizards out there on Twitter, why am I pink? Oh, hold on one second. Hold on one second there. I figured out why I'm pink. Got my pink light on. That's better. Prices just can't go up of things that you buy. If they could just go up, they would go up to infinity because manufacturers would raise them. Food companies would just raise them until, because if you just kept paying, what happens is it reaches a point where people won't pay. Everyone values certain products and services at a certain value. You're just not going to pay $20 for an orange to cut its skin off and put in your old fashioned. Not going to happen. The fruit people can't charge $20 for an orange. And phone people can't charge $3,000 for an Android. They can't do it. They can't even do $3,000 for an iPhone. Same equipment in both phones. Apple just rapes you Apple people. You only will pay what you value for something. And so thus, companies that don't have a silver hedging contract, a silver or a gold hedging contract, meaning that they bought tons of silver way down at this price, they're having to buy silver on the spot market. Suddenly their electronics are too expensive and people won't buy them. So we're running into a problem of demand, and that will be a limiting factor on price also. And if price continues to skyrocket, then we know that the market is mostly speculation driven, and we know that to be careful because there will be a big crash. Anytime the market is mostly speculation driven, like the mortgage market of 2008, you see monster crashes when people get their thing. Have a good night, y'all. I'll try to come back. Costco calls. Please, for the love of God, don't spend $500 there. They used to have the $100 rule at Costco, meaning that if you got out of there under $100, you were like, thank God. And now I think it's like the $500. Like, oh yeah, I need those jeans. Oh, I need that outdoor playset. Oh, I need the new TV. Thanks, Draco. I really appreciate it. Thanks to Undisciplined something over on Twitch. Thanks for joining us and commenting. I'm not going to put your comment on the screen. Thank you for helping our engagement on Twitch. Anyway, let's get the gold price up here. Pax G. Remember, Pax is the company Paxos started out helping other companies make stablecoins. Famously helped PayPal, a bunch of other small ones get into business, and then said, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Why are we helping other companies? Why don't we get into the business of stablecoins? Now they're into the business of providing liquidity to all types of contracts. One is a gold crypto contract called Pax Gold. The Paxos gold contract. Anyway, they have a market cap. Their market cap is $2.2 billion that they have in gold contracts, which is amazing. Now, when they started, their market cap was not much. Right, SFC? The prices were, that's right, I asked you about this. Their prices mirrored gold, but as more people buy it, it adds to their market cap, but it doesn't affect the price so much because the $35 trillion market cap of gold kind of controls the price. Anyway, but where can gold go? You know, I talked about the supply issues with gold and silver. Silver, the supply issues, that refining, absolutely. Gold, similar. Refining gold is really dirty. I mean, you use a lot of rock, a lot of ore to find a very little amount of gold. An interesting statistic, the typical U.S. home, typical U.S. 4-bedroom home with a small garage, typical 1980s and 90s suburban house, is like, what's it, it's 2,800 square feet, and its volume is like, say it's, I don't know, 20,000 square feet, or cubic feet. 20, whatever. All the gold in the world fits in one suburban house. That's it. It fits in one house. And they dig up mountains. They got pits in the ground that are 10 years deep. That's right, I said years. 10 years deep they've been digging. You see those big round circles? They've been digging that out. And in like each one of those dump trucks that you see driving in the mines contains enough dirt to fill a household, or maybe two of them or something like that. Yet all the gold that's ever been mined, fits in one house. How about that statistic? How about that? That's crazy. That is just crazy. All right, let's see. Before I get into speculating on where the price can go on gold. All right, wizards. The gold price. Where is it gonna go? Where is it gonna go? Crypto Unicorn says, gold to the moon. Or wait, from outer space back to the moon. Yes, outer space back to the moon. In theory, most of the gold comes from supernovas from far away. I don't believe that. That's what the physicists, people that like physics say. I think it comes from all over. I think it comes from volcanoes. I think it comes from the Earth's core where there's tremendous pressures. Where can gold go? This one, like silver, is also not stopping, and it's showing the volume. As Pedro always says, look at the volume. What are these notes here? PPI, ISM manufacturing. I wonder how those got on there. Anyway, the volume is still really good. And volume has been really good in gold. This is the 1 hour chart. Let's go to the daily chart. Now this chart only has you know what? Let's find the COMEX volume. Here we go. This is the chart I was looking for. Interestingly enough, the gold volume has been higher in the past. Yeah, but it's pretty high right now. But there's good volume. And when there's good volume, it means more of this stuff. Anyway, but like silver, what did we see in silver? We see here in gold, we're looking right now, you're like, oh, it's gonna have this blow off top. Right here, boom. It's not going higher. It's gonna come back down. Right? Right? Well, that's what we said right here. Yeah, it's clearly on this run right here, we're like, it can't keep going up. It did. The same thing here, big hockey shaped banana right here. Can't keep coming up. It's got to come down back to reasonable levels. Nope. A little bit of sell off, some profit taken, but just went boop, and then a little bit of profit taken and boop, did it again. And did it here too. Same thing here. When it went to 2,400 in April of 24, I remember Pedro and I talking about it. We're like, oh my God, look at that. It went from 2,000 to 2,400. And Pedro was like, do you realize the size of that move? That's a 20% move. Actually, it was a much larger move. 30-some% move. That's at 2,400. Can't keep going up. Can't do it. Won't do it, can't do it. So what are we saying about here? Anyway, we talked about silver out in the middle of March. Let's look what the middle of March is like for gold. If it keeps doing this, the middle of March is 6,000 for gold, right here. If it does another little blow off and then another run, middle of March, 6,100. I mean, this is obviously not a technical analysis of it here. This is just, following if the same pattern continues. It's not scientific by any means. But imagine that. It's crazy. So could we see a $6,000? Gold? No, I'm in the way again. Damn it. You guys got to mention, Tom, you're in the way. Yes, we could. We could see a $6,000 gold very easily. Just like we could see a $150. And Pedro talks about the 5-to-1 ratio. I don't know what he means by that, but the 5-to-1 ratio is still holding based on gold's rise and silver's rise. I don't know how, because silver's 5x'd over the past year and gold is not. So anyway, I'll remember to talk about that with Pedro a little bit. Oh. All right, everybody. I guess Paulo and Chris are not going to join us tonight. So I am going to take this opportunity. Okay. Let's quickly talk about. Before I go, let's talk about. We'll talk about this on the show tomorrow too. Tether. Because I said Tether officially launched its U.S. compliant stablecoin USAT. Not USDT, USAT. While Circle faces first major threat from institutional dollars from Tether's USAT, while Circle's USDC is operated without a credible domestic competitor, Tether's USAT has the potential to shake up the landscape. Analysts say that USAT, the US-focused stablecoin by Tether, could become the first credible domestic competitor to Circle's USDC token. Tether's new stablecoin, USAT, could pose the first serious... Man, I hate these AI-written things. Launched in partnership with federally chartered bank Anchorage Digital and Cantor Fitzgerald. Cantor Fitzgerald, Secretary of Commerce, Howard Lutnick, that was his company. Interestingly enough, he ran it with my dad's college roommate, Chuck Zion, and Chuck perished in the 9/11. For all of you people that said, oh, all the Jews got out, Chuck Zion did not. But anyway, and now Howard's kids run Cantor Fitzgerald, and they've been they're the custodian holders for all of the treasuries, U.S. treasuries for Tether. So they can vouch, and when Tether says we have $80 billion in treasuries, or whatever the number is now, Cantor Fitzgerald says yes. So people say they don't have a proper audit, but Cantor Fitzgerald says that's how many treasuries they have. But I don't know how that works for their other assets, gold, silver, Bitcoin, that type of stuff. But Tether's flagship stablecoin, the $186 billion USDT, dominates global crypto trading in emerging markets. But USAT enters a more crowded and compliance-driven arena in the US, where Circle has long positioned USDC as the go-to choice for banks, fintechs, and exchanges operating under US oversight. USDC, Circle's, only has a market capitalization of $72 billion. I believe USAT is a threat to the USDC, yada, yada, yada. Anyway, let's talk about this for a minute. Let's talk about why did Tether need to have a special one for the US? Why did they need to have a special coin for the US? Stablecoin. Why isn't this doing its thing? Remember, we passed the Genius Act. We also, and I'm sorry, and I'm getting the name. I'm going to get the names of the different acts confused. So I'm just going to say we passed a law saying stablecoins were legal in the United States. And if they wanted to have support of the U.S. government, the SEC, the CFTC, and all that type of stuff, they had to follow these rules. And I guess I don't remember the act's name. All I know is that the Clarity Act coming out now is going to change the playing field a little bit due to the banking lobby. But anyway, They said that stable coins had to be backed by guaranteed liquid stuff like U.S. Treasuries and very liquid real estate holdings and in the U.S. And that's valued properly. And other financial products that are highly liquid and with their volume is tracked and basically guaranteed that it's not going to dump. And it specifically said that gold and Bitcoin were not to be used as backing for a stable coin. Why? Because Bitcoin, what was Bitcoin at a couple of months ago? 126,000, got as low as 79,000, 49%, 41% reduction. That's volatility is too much for backing stable coins. So they said you can't do that. And the Tether does not have enough money to back or enough assets to get rid of Bitcoin or gold from its portfolio. Nor does it want to. So they said, all right, well, we'll just create a new one for the U.S. and it'll make it you'll be able to exchange it from USDT for USAT, no problem. And all they did was, they're going to start it off. Let's just say they start off the market capitalization at 20 billion. They'll just take 20 billion of U.S. Treasuries from their assets for USDT, reduce the market cap of USDT by 20 billion, and move those to the USAT and distribute. Boy, those commercials are annoying. They only ever come up when this is how you know I don't pay the $99 for YouTube. Interfered with my Space Lounge black hole. Anyway, so USAT is going to come online, fully backed by U.S. Treasuries, held in custody by Cantor Fitzgerald, who's in theory their head shareholder, Chairman Emeritus, is the Secretary of Commerce of the United States. And I think the CFTC and the U.S. and the SEC ultimately report through the Commerce. I don't know. That's interesting to figure out. Anyway, so likely what will happen is all the U.S. exchanges will say, "Hey, we're not going to take USDT anymore, but here's a swapper to swap your USDT to USAT, and it's still worth it." It's really a United States created a flim flam, a cart shell game. Just move things around. So that's it. All right, we're gonna get a little premium time in here, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it. For those of you watching, if you're not a Rumble Premium member, down here there's a register button right here. Click it. I know it costs $99 a year. I know that. But if you use the code word studio, you get $10 off. It's $89.99 a year. And you get ad-free, and you get all that premium content that's available on Rumble, not just from Pedro and I, but from all the big accounts. And there's a lot of premium-only accounts out there. And especially in the financial space, we use the premium section to talk more about our trades and our trading. I went over them today. My trades earlier, which I normally do during premium time, as filler because I thought Pedro was going to be with me here this evening, and didn't have content filled for that. Anyway, stick around for premium. We're going to talk a little news and have a little fun here. Anyway, thanks to everyone that watched this part of the show, and for those of you that watch it on the replay, thanks. For those of you who watch on the replay, get to this point and go and watch the premium part. We love you. Remember, there's a tip jar down here now. Rumble Wallet. We haven't been talking about that much, but Rumble Wallet is there. The Rumble Wallet is there. You should use it. I've got Tether Gold in mine. That's right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going off to premium. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you on the other side. All right. All right, give me a minute, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be right back. All right, everybody, welcome back to the show. Just gonna go on here for a little bit here tonight. Gotta be quiet. Apparently late night streaming and talking loudly doesn't work in a small condo and in the city, as they say. Anyway, for those of you that stuck around, I really appreciate it. Thanks a lot for subscribing to Rumble and to watching us. Makes a big difference. It makes a tremendous difference. Still got a bunch of you watching here. I think we got a couple of people here. Thanks to everyone. Well, they're not here anymore. The people on X and Twitch. We had a couple people on X and a couple of people on Kick, so you can't go wrong when you get people over there, because most of the big accounts there are gaming and or the feet people. I'm sorry if you're one of those feet people, but it's weird. Or the ear people, or the people are on the air like with those plastic ears and they rub them and all that. And creepy shit, man. Creepy shit. Anyway, let's go over. You know what? I guess let's quickly look at Bitcoin here. Circle. No, it's That's not what I wanted. Bitcoin, yes. So it's doing. It's coming back here. What I want to see happen here. What I want to see happen here is this is the 1 minute chart. I'm sorry, it's a 5 minute chart. I'm long. No, I'm short. Short, but I'm short from right where the red line crosses the price in there, and I'm down 60. But I'm down $55 now. Anyway, what I want this is to roll over here, do a nice Bart Simpson. Come all the way back to the monthly open here. We tested the monthly open here. This is interesting. I didn't go over this earlier. For those of you watching, thanks for sticking around. Every month, every week, and every month, I put on the chart this right here, the monthly open and the weekly open. Every month, mark the monthly open. It's always an important number. It's always an important number. And for that matter, the weekly open is too. We've seen since this week, the price opened up here on Monday. Gotta be able to see this. Price opened up Monday right here. And we've traded above it all week. What does this tell you? It tells you by the end of the week we need to be trading below it. Because generally the candle is formed for the week. Let's go look at the weekly candle. Right here is our weekly candle. Well, that doesn't make any sense. This candle shows that the week something's wrong here. The open was it 86,484. That doesn't make any sense at all. These candles aren't right. See, every proper candle closes at a level and the other one opens at it, and it forms part of the body. Here it closes, here it opens. I hate when it does that. This candle, the open and close, don't match anything here. Good Lord. Let's go to another chart. Sorry, there's a lot going on here in this chart. Anyway, this chart is right. This is the KuCoin chart. This is the general index over time, a compilation. It should be right. It's good to know that it's not. Anyway, this monthly chart here, let's see if we can hide the indicators. Hide drawings. Here's the week. We've got a supply wick here. We've got the open right here. Let's draw these. A supply wick heat. Can't draw them. Anyway, supply wick here, open right here. Tiny little demand wick here. You can't really see it. Little supply wick. The body here spans from the open to the price here. That's the current price, 89,125. I'd like to see a bigger demand wick here, like all the way down here. You can see where my cursor is moving here. That means the price has to come all the way down and form the body, big supply wick, form the body down here. Tough. There's a big liquidity pool at 85,000, so there is a draw for it to happen. Interesting. Anyway, as I was saying, would like to see the Bart Simpson happen here. Yada yada yada, and then boop. And that hope happened below the monthly open and weekly open. We've traded above the weekly open and the monthly open all week. We've traded above the monthly open since the 25th, and we've spent much of the month above the weekly open. I'm sorry, above the monthly open. Oh, I've got this on the week chart. These evening shows, I get tired. I'm going to try not to drink so much. Thanks for watching, everyone. As I say, premium for the win. It's all right, everybody. I was just turning off a few things here as it gets late at night. God, this is amazing. I know many of you have watched me over time deal with struggles with the technology aspect, but earlier today I had a problem with Adobe Premiere, and I fixed, in fixing a problem with that, it taught me that I wasn't doing something right with my live streaming program. As far as Windows settings, and I used to be at 90% CPU for the entire show, to the point where it was like warning me it may drop the stream. And the GPU was not being utilized well. Now the GPU is being utilized at 35% and the CPU is at 22%. And years I was dealing with this problem. Years. I know I got on a tangent there. Anyway, let's talk about the monthly open and the weekly open here. So, like I was saying, we've been trading above the monthly open, except for this small period on the let's go to the 15-minute chart here. See, monthly opened at 87.5, got up briefly to 97,000, then quickly pulled back. And Pedro and I still say it's going to 74,000, and so does a large part of crypto Twitter. Usually we're in disagreement. Usually it's the other way. Crypto Twitter says one thing, Pedro and I usually say the other thing. But normally, if you spend most of the month above the monthly open, you're going to come back to it and hit the monthly open. And same with the weekly. If you spend most of the week above it, eventually you're going to come back down and trade below it because that candle needs to be made. That candle on the chart needs to be made. And if it doesn't have a demand wick of the weekly candles, especially of the monthly candles, almost all of them have significant, or not significant, but at least some part of a demand candle and a supply. It's a demand wick and a supply wick. Anyway, but now that we're looking at this chart, let's look at how the week's going. So our week started on this Sunday here. Monday night at whatever this price was. Traded up on Monday. Traded up on Tuesday. And so we're at that point where we spent essentially 2.5 days at the beginning of the week above the market. Can the whole week be above the market? Of course, it does happen. But normally, the candle needs to be made, and it needs to come back down. And you see the general weakness and trend lines are down right now. They are down. If you want a thorough top-down analysis from the month-long all the way down to the 1-minute one, go see Sam Price. Go see his daily show at 10. He's on before us on YouTube and Rumble. He's on 10 to 12. We're on 12 to 2. And he gives a thorough one, like an hour-long version of one almost every day. Or come here and ask questions when Pedro is on. And yes, and someone did ask me, how come I always mention Sam Price and that I learned from him and that yada, 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 and this and that. It's because Sam has taught me a lot. I've participated. He's been on our show. He was on our show a couple years ago. And it's his work that I've learned from. And he's arguably the hardest working crypto YouTuber out there, crypto streamer, and I learned a lot from him. So I give him credit where it's due. Thanks for watching, everyone. Premium for the win. For the win. Anyway, let's fix this chart because it looks like that red candle. I like white candles, not red candles. But what I would like to see here is Tuesday. What I would like to see is kind of this. Oh, that didn't work. It's kind of this, and then tomorrow, maybe up a little, and then tomorrow just slam it back down underneath the weekly open, and then trade down here. For the balance of the week. Why is this? Let's get back to the other chart, to the 4-hour chart, and unhide the candle or the because why? Because we predicted. This is January, as you know. I track the months here. First green candle in the rectangle, that's the first week of January. First, not the Sunday to Monday type, or a Sunday to Saturday thing, but first 7 days. Second candle is the next 7 days. Third candle, I drew all of these candles on January 8th. First week went up, second week had to come down. Third week is going to go up, not just because it follows a down week, but because the first week went up means the end of the candle is going to come down. The end of the period is going to come down to form that whole candle. And if it's going to come down a lot, like Pedro and I said, possibly 74,000. which I think that might be a stretch now that it's the 27th, 28th, wherever you're watching this from. There's only a couple of days left in the month. I don't think it'll get down there. We'll have to leave that for February. But if it's going to come down that much, they need to grab the liquidity before that, which is why I had an up arrow here. And the month pretty much worked out so far exactly like planned. The only difference right now, it hasn't come down as much. And if my plan this week goes well, here, this plan, all the time. The come down Wednesday and Thursday, then the plan will have worked out once again just perfectly. I don't know how I ended up over here. Sorry, just checking the social medias to see if I got any interaction from the Rumble crew. Nope. I did not. It's funny, our show last night on X got many, many, many views. 50, 60 some views. Today, 10. It's always strange how that works. Larry at Pure Wallet, thanks for liking our tweets. Appreciate it. Got some new Bitcoin girls. I use them on our thumbnails. It does work. The other thing that works is the O face. On YouTube that works. On other things, on Rumble it doesn't work. But this works on Rumble. She's the jumping off the precipice, like here, that we would use her when Bitcoin's going to come down like this. And then when we want to be fun and flirty, this girl. Redcoat Bitcoin. We'll call her British Bitcoin. She's the redcoats. And then when Bitcoin is moving and grooving, and just really breaking out, the jumping BTC. I love AI. The fact that I can create that just typing in text. I mean, I would have had to pay someone $5,000 on Fiverr to make those three things I just showed you. I mean, graphic arts used to be like the best independent job. If you could make something like that, you could get hired by video games people to get paid $500,000 a year. And now you just go. Anyway, that's Bitcoin Jumper. This one I like too, the Bitcoin Reporter. Taking in the numbers and bringing you the news. Then, of course, we've got the $85,000 coming soon. There's a big liquidity level bookmark. Bookmap shows it. Shows it at 85,000. And if that doesn't work, then, well, we've got 80,000. Let's make her a little bigger. It's locked. Of course, if 80,000 doesn't work, maybe 95,000 works. 95,000. But what if we're on the uptrend and maybe 100,000, 95 to 100,000 is in order? Then you have, she goes from 95 to 100,000. And if Bitcoin wants to disrespect us, then they just walk away from us. They're like, we're out of here. We are out of here. You know what? That's the opposite of today's one. They're walking towards us, like that, and then here they are walking away from us. I gotta find that one. See if I can find that one. This is how you know it's premium time. Not that one. Actually, I should do this one. This is my stablecoin one. This. Oops. Oh. Yeah, let's see if this one works. Stablecoin update. But the question is, where is the one the girls are walking away? Or walking towards us, I mean. I don't think I had a 90,000 one, did I? Good evening, everybody. We're here in Rumble Premium here tonight, taking questions about Bitcoin, gold, silver, or any of the top things traded recently. Obviously, Bitcoin, gold, and silver have been the top of the news things. Tomorrow, or today, wherever you're watching this from, is the Fed funds rate announcement by Jerome Powell. 3.75%. No more decreases predicted. Predicted to stay the same. Fed Watch says that. Polymarket says that. Everybody says that. So that's likely to be the case. Right now I'm in a losing trade in Bitcoin, but we can get this to come back down to just about a little bit under the 200 period moving average. I'll be in the profits. So we're hoping for a nice dump tonight. Earlier when I was talking about Bitcoin, I said what I'd like to see is actually it consolidate into a little bit on Wednesday to keep it above the weekly open here for another, I don't know, half a day or so, and then dump. But it looks like it's going to come down here and do a little Bart Simpson. Hopefully it does that. Let's re-rack the Bitcoin price here. You can't actually read that, can you, on the screen? I gotta fix that.